Welcome to the T-News 9 channel. Today, we're diving into the thrilling world of the 190 IQ killer, specifically Chapter 41, The Map of Falls. The scene opens in the precinct's evidence room. The air is thick with tension. Detective Ethan has everything spread out on a massive table. Case files, crime scene photos, the cryptic dominoes, and all of Kay's taunting messages. It's a chaotic collage of a killer's mind. His partner, Ramos, watches him, concerned, and says, "Walk me through this, slowly, before you burn out." Ethan, fueled by an obsessive energy, starts connecting the dots. He points to a photo of the Halpin Bridge, then to the shattered mirrors from the warehouse, and finally to the shaky, signed confession of a man named Lachlan. Ethan's theory is chilling. He explains that none of Kay's murders are random acts of violence. They are meticulously planned reenactments, echoes of a single, tragic childhood accident. Ramos is skeptical. He furrows his brow and asks the million-dollar question, but why now? Why would Kay start killing after all these years? Ethan doesn't answer right away. Instead, he picks up a faded Polaroid. It's a picture of Kay as a young boy, his face a mask of innocence that hides a future monster. Because something, Ethan says, his voice barely a whisper, or someone, triggered him. "You mean Lachlan?" Ramos presses, crossing his arms. But Ethan shakes his head. No, Lachlan is terrified, drowning in guilt, but he's not the spark. Ramos leans closer, the gravity of the situation pulling him in. Then what is? Ethan finally reveals the core of his theory, the one thing he's been circling since the beginning, the fall of the second boy, Kay's friend. Ramos is stunned. "You think he's trying to recreate that moment?" Ethan nods grimly. "He's making me stand where he once stood. He wants me to relive his fear, his guilt." The focus shifts to the domino in Ethan's hand. "So what does the next domino tell us?" Ramos asks. This is where it gets brilliant. Ethan takes a map and marks the locations of every one of Kay's crimes. Warehouse 17C, the bridge, the Glassman house, the morgue, the towers. He begins to draw lines between the points. At first, Ramos sees nothing but a random scatterplot. "It's not random," Ethan insists, his pen moving with purpose. "It's a shape." He finishes drawing the lines, and the image that emerges is unmistakable. A staircase. Ramos can only whisper, "Holy hell." Ethan circles the very bottom of the staircase on the map. That, he declares, is where we'll find his next crime. Ramos leans in, his eyes wide. "What place is that?" Ethan's answer hangs in the air, heavy with impending doom. "The old community center." Chapter 42, The Broken Staircase. The old community center was a skeleton of a building, wrapped in graffiti and choked by weeds. Ethan and Ramos pushed through a rusted side door, stepping into the darkness. Moonlight sliced through the boarded-up windows, revealing a scene that made the air feel colder than a morgue. There it was, the staircase, old, rotting, and hauntingly familiar from the VHS tape. But something was wrong. Fresh chalk markings covered every step, rows, measurements, complex angles. Ethan knelt down, his fingers tracing the white lines. Ramos's voice was a strained whisper. "Kay's been here recently." Ethan's mind raced as he studied the calculations. He's working out trajectories, fall distance, impact radius. A terrible realization dawned on him. "He's planning another fall," Ramos said, his hand instinctively going to his weapon. Ethan nodded grimly. "But who's?" Suddenly, a faint sound drifted from the second floor. A metallic dragging noise, gun raised. Ramos led the way, with Ethan close behind. They cautiously ascended the decaying steps. At the top of the staircase, in the middle of the long hallway, sat a lone chair, and on it, a projector. As if on cue, it whirred to life, casting an image onto the opposite wall. It was a video of the very same staircase they were standing on. A young boy, clearly Kay, stood at the top. Beside him, another, smaller boy, his face a mask of terror as he stared down. The recorded voice of young Kay whispered, "It was supposed to be safe. He wasn't supposed to fall." The smaller boy stumbled backward, his foot slipped, and the camera tumbled. The hallway filled with the sounds of screams and chaos before the screen went black. Ramos swallowed hard. So it wasn't murder. It was an accident. But Ethan saw it differently. "No," he corrected, "it was guilt." Just then, another sound broke the silence. A soft whimper from the shadows behind them. A muffled voice pleaded, "Ethan." Ethan spun around. Liana. She was tied up, bruised and gagged, slumped against the wall. He rushed to her, tearing the gag from her mouth. "Liana, are you hurt?" She shook her head frantically. No, but he told me something. He told me about the next victim. A soft click echoed through the hall, and a speaker crackled to life overhead. Kay's chilling voice filled the space. You found the staircase, mad dog. Now let's see if you can stop what you couldn't stop back then. Liana's eyes widened in terror as she screamed. Ethan is going to make someone fall.
Chapter 4:3. The Child in Blue. Ethan lifted the freed Liana into his arms as Riamus cut her restraints. Her voice was a desperate whisper. Where is he? Where's Kay? She pointed down a dark, far hallway. He took someone. A kid. Maybe 10 years old? He had him blindfolded. He kept repeating the same strange phrase. One more chance to correct the fall. Ethan's heart pounded against his ribs. A child. The same age as Kay's friend from that tragic incident so long ago. Ramos's voice was filled with dread beside him. He's reenacting it. Full scale. Without a second thought, Ethan stormed down the hallway. At the very end, a single door was slightly ajar. He kicked it open. Inside was a large recreation room, eerily empty. Except for one heart-stopping sight. A small boy stood trembling on a table. He was blindfolded, his hands tied behind his back. He was wearing a small blue hoodie. Just like the boy from the surveillance tape, Ramos was horrified. Jesus. He found a kid who looks just like him. Ethan raised both hands, his voice dropping to a gentle, soothing tone. Hey, buddy, it's okay. Just don't move. We're here to help you. The child shook violently. I don't want to fall. Please don't make me fall. Ethan took a careful step closer. It's all right. No one is falling today. Behind him, Liana started to cry. But then, Ethan froze. Pinned to the child's chest was a note. A taunt written in bold letters. You were too late for him. Are you too late for this one? A cold realization washed over Ethan. He exhaled slowly. This wasn't the endgame. This was a distraction. Kay's real move was happening somewhere else right now. Ramos, Ethan snapped. Cut the kid loose. Liana, you stay with them. He spun around and sprinted toward the back door, his senses on high alert. That's when he heard it, a soft sound echoing from above. A single footstep on the second-floor balcony. Ethan's head snapped up, and there he was. A figure leaning over the railing, a white mask fixed in a permanent, smiling grin. It was Kay, his voice, a chilling whisper drifted down. Mad dog. You're back where it all began. Chapter 44, The Man on the Balcony. Ethan sprinted up the stairs, taking them two at a time, his gun held steady. Kay, don't move. He shouted, but Kay didn't run. He just stood there, perfectly still at the edge of the balcony, his hands relaxed by his sides. For the very first time, the infamous white mask was gone. Kay's face was mostly hidden in shadow, but Ethan could see just enough. He saw calm eyes, completely devoid of emotion. Not triumphant, not angry, just empty. Kay spoke, his voice chillingly soft. Do you know why I brought you here? Ethan kept his gun aimed squarely at Kay's chest. You're recreating the accident. Kay tilted his head, a slight, almost curious gesture. No, I'm trying to correct it. Ethan's eyes narrowed in confusion. By hurting more people? Kay shook his head gently. I saved the boy downstairs. He was never in any danger. The rope was soft, the knot was loose, the table was stable. Ethan froze, his mind racing to catch up. What? Kay took a small step closer. I wanted you to believe that history was repeating itself. I wanted to make you feel what I felt. Ethan gritted his teeth, his grip tightening on his weapon. And what's that? Kay's voice for the first time cracked just a little. Helplessness. He looked down at the floorboards of the balcony. When he fell, the other boy, I reached for him. I tried to catch him. Just like you reached for the man on the bridge. But I wasn't fast enough. Ethan lowered his gun a fraction, the pieces of the puzzle starting to shift in his mind. Is this why you kill? To fix the guilt? Kay looked up, his gaze locking onto Ethan's. No. I killed because lies started this entire chain of events, and I've been following it ever since. But you. He pointed a finger at Ethan. You let a lie win once. And now you're the last link in the chain. The final accident. The one that corrects the pattern. Ethan's voice hardened. You're not pushing me. Kay shook his head again. No. You're going to jump. Ethan froze completely, the words hanging in the air. What? Kay whispered, his voice barely audible but carrying immense weight. You're standing right where he stood. And now you understand the world is safer when the guilty fall.
Chapter 45 of the 190 IQ Killer, titled The Choice Above All Others. The tension is at its absolute peak, so let's get right into it. The scene opens with Ethan taking a defensive step back, his voice firm. I'm not guilty of anything. But Kay, ever the puppet master, remains completely unfazed. He looks at Ethan and says, you made a choice once, on the bridge, with the first boy. You dismissed the dent, you called it an accident, and because you ignored it, a chain of deaths began. Every lie, every fall, every victim. Ethan's jaw tightens, a mix of anger and denial in his eyes. You're rewriting the past, he retorts, but Kay's response is chillingly calm. No, he says, I'm finishing it. Kay then extends his hand, not in aggression, but with a strange, almost gentle invitation. If you jump, the chain ends. If you fall, the pattern breaks. Ethan's hand trembles, but his gun stays pointed at Kay. His voice shakes as he pleads. Kay, stop this. You don't want to watch another death. For a fleeting moment, a hint of vulnerability crosses Kay's face as his eyes soften. I never stopped watching the first one, he admits, his voice low. Then, Kay moves closer to the edge, just inches from the terrifying drop below. He looks at Ethan, calling him by his old nickname. You can't save everyone, Mad Dog, but you can save her. Ethan's throat feels tight, his mind racing. Who? He chokes out. Kay leans in and whispers a single, devastating name. Liana. Ethan freezes, his world stopping for a heartbeat. Kay points down, and Ethan, driven by a primal fear, lunges toward the railing. His eyes widen in horror at what he sees. A thin, almost invisible wire is attached to a heavy lighting rig, positioned directly above the recreation room. It's hanging over the boy, over Ramos, and, most terrifyingly, over Liana. If that rig is released, it will be a genuine, deadly accident, all over in seconds. Kay's voice is a quiet, menacing presence beside him. You have two choices, jump, or race downstairs and fail again. Ethan spins back to face Kay, who is now stepping onto the narrow railing itself, balancing precariously. He holds his smiling mask in his hand, a final, taunting gesture. As the wind whips around them, Kay whispers his final challenge. Let us see if UVA changed since the first domino. What an incredible cliffhanger. Will Ethan jump to break the cycle, or will he race against time in a desperate attempt to save Liana, risking yet another failure? The choice is impossible. Let us know your predictions in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to T News 9 for more heart-pounding chapter breakdowns. We'll see you next time.